Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We have an update for you regarding the Idaho4 defamation case styled as Schofield versus Giard. This is a case that had been pending for a number of years in Idaho District, that is federal court, through its conclusion following a jury trial where a jury returned a $10 million verdict in favor of University of Idaho professor Rebecca Schofield against the defendant, an online content creator, psychic / tarot card reader, Ashley Giard. Thereafter, the defense, that's Ms. Giard, filed a notice of appeal. She wants that judgment thrown out, and in order to do that, she needs to plead her case to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is over the district court in Idaho. Now, pursuant to a schedule, June 29th was the deadline for her to file her initial brief on the merits, which would have laid out the legal arguments, the points of reversible error, and why it is that the appellate court should reverse and remand that $10 million judgment against her. A look at the court docket reveals, however, that Ms. Giard yesterday, the day that the initial brief was due, filed a motion for extension of time. She asked for an additional 30-day period to file her initial brief on the merits. And we see here that the appellate court entered an order granting the request for extension of time. The amended briefing schedule has now been entered. The opening brief that is due from the appellant, Ms. Giard, is July 29th, 2026. The answering brief from the plaintiff below, she's the appellee in the appeal matter, that is Professor Schofield, will now be due August 28th, 2026. And then there's what's called here in this order an optional reply brief due 21 days after the service of the answering brief. What does this mean? This means that after Schofield answers, and we're expecting a very strenuous objection to anything but affirming that $10 million judgment, which is due from her answering to the initial brief on the merits on August 28th. Optional reply brief from the appellant, that is Giard, will be due 21 days later. Now, what's a reply? A reply does not start her case all over again. She doesn't get to add new reasons why the judgment should be set aside that did not appear in the opening brief. She has an opportunity, however, to reply to the response, explaining why, in her opinion, any of the legal authority, the facts, the argument that Schofield may serve in this future answer is incorrect, giving her effectively one last shot at convincing the panel on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to rule in her favor and set aside the judgment. If you'd like to take a look at the docket and what's been filed so far, the U.S. Court of Appeals docket number for Schofield versus Giard is case number 262190. We will continue to keep you posted as further developments arise. Until next time, thank you for joining us here today.